lover in the dark. Ronan Drake had a reputation. A tattoo artist with hands like poetry and a gaze that could strip a woman bare. His name was whispered in neon-lit tattoo parlors and underground clubs, where ink bled into skin like whispered confessions. He had the kind of presence that made people lean in, seeking the warmth of his attention, drawn like moths to his flame. And he enjoyed it. Ronan was the kind of man who knew exactly what to say, what to do, to make someone feel like the center of the universe, before pulling the rug from beneath them just to watch them fall. He liked control. He liked watching how far people would go, how much they would give, just for a sliver of his affection. Some women found it intoxicating. Some found it terrifying. But no one ever walked away the same. The new canvas. The bell above the tattoo shop door jingled, announcing a new visitor. Ronan didn't look up immediately. He was sketching, lost in the gentle scratch of pencil against paper. But he felt the presence before he saw her. Then, a voice, smooth as honey, yet laced with an edge, cut through the air. "You're Ronan Drake." He lifted his gaze, locking eyes with the woman standing before him. She had dark, wavy hair that cascaded over her shoulders, lips painted a shade of red that spoke of danger, and a confidence that most women didn't have when they walked through his door. "Depends," he murmured, leaning back in his chair. "Who's asking?" Her lips curved, but she didn't smile. "Lena Carter. I need a tattoo." His eyes flickered over her bare arms. "I can see that. What are you thinking?" She stepped forward, sliding a folded piece of paper onto the counter. He unfolded it, his brows raising slightly as he took in the design. A delicate, intricate raven, its wings made of intertwining roses and thorns. "Interesting," he said. "Ravens usually symbolize death. Yours looks like it's watching something die." Lena tilted her head. Maybe it is. Something about her intrigued him. Most people were easy to read, their desires laid bare the moment they walked in. But she was guarded, a puzzle with missing pieces. He gestured to the chair. "Take a seat. Let's make it permanent." Ink and control. Ronan worked in silence, the hum of the tattoo gun filling the air. Lena didn't flinch, didn't make a sound, as the needle kissed her skin. "You're good at this," she murmured. He smirked. "I know." A pause. "You do more than tattoo, don't you?" His grip on the machine tightened, just slightly. "What makes you say that?" She shrugged, her gaze steady. "People talk." Ronan chuckled, low and dark. "People love their stories." But Lena wasn't looking away. "What's yours?" He leaned closer, the scent of ink and leather wrapping around them. "Careful, sweetheart. You might not like what you find." She held his gaze, and for a moment, something passed between them. Something unspoken, something dangerous. And Ronan realized, for the first time in a long time, that he might have just met his match. A game of power. Lena became a fixture in his life after that. She showed up unannounced, always carrying a new design, a new excuse to see him. They danced around each other, a slow, tantalizing game of push and pull. Ronan wasn't used to women who didn't just fall. Lena resisted. She played the game but refused to be owned. And he hated that he liked it. One night, as they sat in the back of the shop, the air thick with tension, she leaned in close. "You like control," she said. Ronan smirked. "And you don't." She tilted her head. "I like balance." His fingers brushed her wrist, feeling the steady beat of her pulse. "There's no such thing in a game like this." Her breath hitched, but she didn't pull away. "Then I guess we'll see who wins." The breaking point. Ronan didn't do love. Love was a leash, a weakness. He took, he indulged, but he never let anyone close enough to have power over him. But Lena, she got under his skin. She wasn't just a woman to conquer. She was a challenge, a force that refused to bow. And it infuriated him. One night, as they lay tangled together, she traced the scars on his chest, her touch light as air. You hide behind this, she murmured. His jaw clenched. You think you know me? Her fingers trailed up to his neck. I know you want to be known, but you're too afraid. His grip on her wrist tightened. Don't push me, Lena. She didn't flinch. Or what? He could have broken her. He could have reminded her who had the power. But instead, she kissed him. And for the first time, Ronan felt something he couldn't control. The fall. Lena was different. She saw the monster inside him and didn't run. She challenged him, made him question if power meant anything if he had no one to share it with. And that terrified him more than anything, because Ronan Drake did not lose control. Until the truth unraveled. Then came the night everything changed. Ronan was closing up the shop when he saw the shadow moving in the alleyway. He tensed, instincts kicking in, but before he could react, a figure stepped into the dim light. Lena. But she wasn't alone. A man stood beside her, a smirk on his lips. Looks like we finally caught you, Drake. Ronan's blood ran cold. He recognized the voice. An old rival. Someone he thought was long gone. Lena turned to him, and for the first time, he saw something in her eyes he hadn't before. Regret. Betrayal. It hit him like a blade to the chest. You set me up, he whispered. She swallowed hard. I had to. His mind reeled. Had it all been a game? Had she played him the way he played others? He wanted to be angry, to hate her. But all he could think about was how much he wished she had been real. The final goodbye. The fight that followed was brutal. Ronan was fast, but he was outnumbered. He took down 2 men before a gun was pressed against his back. Lena's voice broke through the chaos. Stop! He turned to her, breathing hard, blood dripping from his lip. Tell me one thing, he said, voice raw. She hesitated. Was any of it real? Her eyes glistened. Yes, but it wasn't enough. She had already made her choice. And so, Ronan Drake did what he did best. He smiled, even as the cuffs snapped around his wrists, even as the weight of betrayal settled in his chest. Because in the end, he had finally lost. Not to power, not to control, but to love. And that, he realized, was the cruelest cut of all.